Hey, what is going on, everybody?
Hey.
Nadia, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Super excited to have you on for this one. You're doing a lot of big things in the space, and we're kind of excited to promote your nonprofit, which is we'll talk about it kind of in the later half here. But thanks for coming on. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's early morning. We got lots to do today.
Yeah, right.
I'm ready to get after it.
Yeah, after we've already been talking for an hour.
Yep, I know.
So-
We were talking about great things.
Yeah. So, well, cool. Why don't you tell people a little bit more about yourself? Because you're, I wouldn't say you're relatively new to the CrossFit space, but
Pretty new-ish.
yeah, like you came in and then you had a little bit of a break, and then you're kind of getting back into the swing of things. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Let's just hear your background and kind of go from there.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll go brief. I have a pretty extensive, unique background. I'm not from here. I'm from a different country, Russia, and I have to be very careful. But so I was
What part
adopted.
of Russia?
I was from Moscow.
Oh wow. Okay.
True Muscovite.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
It is really I love it, and
Have you gone back? Okay.
well, yeah, kind of. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the little spiel. Quick little background history. Born in Russia, I was adopted when I was 3 by my wonderful, amazing parents, and they're fantastic. Love them to death. And then my whole life, I was just ball of energy, and my mom knew that I was a pretty smart person, right, growing up. So always doing sports, always really active in school and stuff like that. So grew up playing basketball, tennis, golf, swam, CrossFit. Cross country. I ran track. Soccer, and then what else did I do? I did flag football for a little while.
Oh,
rugby.
wow.
Yep. So any sport I could get my hands on, I was doing it. I was like the 3-season sport girl growing up.
With multiple sports in those seasons.
With
sometimes.
multiple sports in those seasons, yes. And I loved it.
Yeah.
But bless my parents, wore them down. So ended up going to college for soccer on scholarship. And then I graduated. I'll back up. We lived over in Russia. So my parents adopted me from Russia because my dad taught in the universities. He taught English over there.
Okay.
So that's why we have a Russian connection over there. And
this is your adopted dad, or
my adopted father. Yes,
Okay.
my English father taught English in the Russian universities in Russia.
Okay.
Yes.
Got
So that's why they traveled a lot to and from Russia.
Got it.
And so we moved. I was adopted, played sports, did everything, moved to Russia with the intention of living there for forever.
Okay.
Long term, coming back for family and stuff like that, relatives. And a year and a half-ish in, we got kicked out
Wow.
of Russia. And
So who did you go there with? Or
it was my dad, my mom, and my brother at the time, because we did not
biological?
No, my brother's also
Oh.
adopted from Perm.
So this is your adopted,
This is my adopted family.
family. Okay.
So I do not have any ties or connections with my birth
Got it.
anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Got
I
it.
am not blood related to anyone in my family.
Got it. So when you're talking about your family, it's like
This is the one family that I know. Yeah.
Okay,
I was,
got it.
I was not born into having a family ever. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So I only have one.
yeah. So you guys moved back over to Russia, and a year and a half in, you got kicked out.
Yep.
What time frame was this?
2000, 8-ish, 9. Yeah.
Okay.
So that whole housing crash, that huge recession that everyone dealt with, we dealt with it in a very different way, because we were trying to get back into we were trying to see if we could get back into Russia. So we toured all over Eastern Europe, stayed in Finland for a little while, trying to see if we could go back. Obviously, it didn't work out because I'm here.
Yeah.
And so so during that, like, it was like at the latter end of that in 2008 going into 2009, we had to move back to America with like nothing, because when we got kicked out, it was like fast. Like, we took suitcase, that was it, like a couple suitcases, that was it.
You were like almost fleeing the country, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And so, like, yeah, we didn't take anything.
Wow.
So obviously, so it was really interesting, and I didn't know this at the time because I was 10, 11, and it was really interesting because I was like, well, we have money. Why didn't we didn't move in? We didn't have a house or anything like that, a car. So we ended up moving with my dad's mom for like 8 months because the economy was so bad.
Right.
We didn't have anything, and I had never experienced poverty.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, Kyle, I had a nanny and a maid. Like, I went to boarding school. Like, I had never experienced anything like that before in my life. And
you're like, what do you mean I have to wash my own clothes?
Yeah, like, what? I have to live with my grandma in like a 4-bedroom house? Like, what is this? And I mean, looking back, it was probably a really important life lesson that has shaped me to who I am, but I was like, what is going on? Like, what? And so that's where I have not been back to Moscow, Russia, but the closest I've been is Moldova.
I don't even know where that is, actually.
So Romania is like up here.
Yep.
And you've got Ukraine right around here, and Moldova's right
small
in the
country
little guy.
in
Yep,
between.
it is the poorest third world country in Eastern Europe because its ports are constantly being fought over, and it's a huge ground for war with Ukraine. Like, that is how you
get
go
into
through.
Ukraine. Oh, okay, got it.
Because it's really bad.
That's unfortunate.
But really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Very. It's like you almost go back in time.
Yeah. That's sweet.
Yeah, it is very. I will say, be very careful. People do try to take you in Moldova.
Doesn't surprise me. Do they have the wild dogs there?
Yep.
That shit's crazy. I heard about that a couple years ago. Actually, I heard about that 6 years ago, so not a couple.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
That's crazy. Like, I heard that you'll be riding your bike, you'll round a corner, you'll see a pack of rabid dogs, and you literally have to run away because they'll come and eat you.
Well, they will. Yeah. I mean, I never.
Maybe this was exaggerated a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay.
But it is like you 100%. It's like running into a bear. You know, like, you tell yourself, like, people tell you, like, depending on what kind of bear it is, you make yourself big or you make yourself small and you slowly back away or you front them.
Yeah.
And so, like, if it's just like a couple, like, you make yourself big and you yell at them and be like, ah, and like scare them away.
Yeah.
Because they really, like, but if it's like more than like 2, like,
probably need to get out of there.
You get out.
Yeah.
You needed to go. Yeah.
But they'll attack you, right?
Yeah. Well, because they're like they have
rabies. They're starving. They're rabid. Yeah.
It's
nuts.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, but beautiful country, wonderful food. I went there for soccer at a medical like clinic.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome.
I know. I've like have some pretty unique experiences.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun. That was really cool. That was my senior year of high school.
Okay.
That's what I did. And then went to college for soccer, played all through soccer, tore my ACL my sophomore year over in the Dominican Republic. We played their national team over there and stayed there for like 2-ish weeks. It was really cool.
Playing their national team or because you tore your ACL?
Playing their national team.
Okay.
Tore my ACL, didn't even get to play their national team. Oh. Because I tore it the second day we were there.
Playing soccer?
Playing soccer.
Okay.
So Dominican.
At least it wasn't like you showed up and you like.
I know.
You tripped
I will say that's
down
like
the
my
plane
one.
Or something.
That's my like one. Like I was like, if I had to tear my ACL, thank God I didn't tear it just standing.
Yeah. Right.
Something ridiculous.
Right.
Like I got hit, but also. It's so interesting because we ran like these clinics and stuff in the Dominican Republic. baseball is huge.
Yeah.
And like that's not like a new concept. We all know that like Babe Ruth, right? He came
Nope.
and someone else.
David
Ortiz. Yes, sorry, yeah. You can clearly tell how invested I am in baseball. But from the Dominican, phenomenal baseball player. But so when we ran these clinics, we had to form a soccer field off the baseball field.
Wow.
So like
they literally didn't have soccer fields.
They had baseball fields out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Soccer fields, no. So in the middle in the middle of my field running these clinics is a pitching mound.
That's awesome.
I know. And no one got hurt off of that, but I got tore my ACL getting slide tackled and goal whatever. So I was like, how in the world? I was like, for sure someone's going to tear their ACL on the pitching mound. Like, of course.
Like tripping over the rubber or something like that. Nothing.
Nope. Your goal over here. Got it. Did it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but beautiful, beautiful country. And like, we went through that whole recovery. And then after college, I graduated in 2020. Mm-hmm. I made a decision that I was not going to just sit and be like, those are the glory days. Like my days as an athlete were not done. Like I loved competing. Like I loved training. Like at some point I stopped loving soccer and started loving the gym.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wonder. Part of me thinks that tearing my ACL and going through that rigorous recovery, kind of sparked that love.
Yeah, because I'm always wondering about that. Because a lot of the time you'll find athletes that are like, I liked training more than I liked playing the sport, which is interesting to me because like when I was competing in CrossFit, I loved competition, and the training was more of a means to the end to the competition.
Yeah.
Now I liked exercising beforehand a lot, and I still do it to this day. But the fun thing for me was always the competition floor, and so it's an interesting kind of like, what do you mean you were playing a sport and it wasn't the competition that was the fun thing? It was the stuff inside the gym that was the fun thing. It's an interesting mindset, I think.
It is, and I will say I still love competing. I love to win.
Okay.
Like there's always like this debate: do you love to lose, or do you hate to lose, or do you love to win?
Yeah.
Like I can answer without a shadow of a doubt. I love winning.
What about winning?
What about winning? It is the sense that I did it, and I did it better. Than anybody else in that field.
Do you feel like that's a little bit of like an ego thing, or?
Do you want to know something? No, because as soon as I win, I'm off to the next one.
Okay.
I actually
So it's more of a challenge.
I do not celebrate wins very, very often. Even when we would win soccer games because I had a shutout, like, you know, as a goalkeeper, you're like the lone black sheep of the family, and you don't get any of the glory or anything like that unless you have a shutout or like unless you like have phenomenal saves during the game. You can win a game without a goalkeeper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to win a game. If you win a game, it's not because of your goalkeeper. It's because of your scorers and your assisters.
Right.
And so even when I had some of the best games, like I broke school records. It was like I had that moment. I was like, this is nice. And then I was like, okay, what's next? You know, like I know I got that. So now we need to go to the next.
Okay.
The next level.
So it's more of like when you win something, you're like, cool, accomplished that challenge. Now it's on to the next thing. Is that kind of a little
kind
bit
of,
more?
Yeah.
So maybe it's not so much the winning, but like the checking a challenge off of the list.
It feels good.
Winning does feel good.
Yeah, I don't like maybe, and there is an ego aspect too. I think you need to have an ego to want to win.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a very like brute like look at me, I'm the star. That's not where the ego leads me. Like, you know, I love winning and I want to win at everything, but it's like okay, like this feels nice.
Yeah.
Okay, like we can go do more. Like now I know that I can get this, and now I know I've accomplished this, like, what's the next big fish? What's the next level up? What's the next thing that maybe I'll lose, but like I know I can win this.
Yeah.
So now I can win something else.
So, do you think that winning is just like that feeling that you get is an absence of the shitty feelings that you get from losing, and that's why it feels so good?
I think losing is important though.
I do too, but I think it's important because of how bad you feel. And it teaches you that you
never
don't ever want to
it.
fucking feel like that again
Yeah.
because it's awful. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think there probably is.
Yeah. Like an aspect to it, maybe?
Yeah,
or-
100%. I learned very quickly, though, in the sport world, in the team world, you have to have a goldfish mind.
Mm-hmm.
Lose, play like shit, done.
Yep.
On to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to feel that again, but also you can't really dwell on that feeling.
Right.
Because you're going to then do it again.
Right. But you can
know?
use it for motivation to be like, I remember how I felt.
Yep.
I'm going to work harder so that I never feel like that again.
Yes.
Or hopefully never feel like that again.
Yeah, or in my mind, I just, like, in goal, if I didn't make a good save, or, like, if I made a mistake, didn't result in a goal being scored, but I still made a mistake, like, I just was like, I would just be like, well, I'm better than that. Okay, so do better.
Yeah, right.
You know, like, I knew that I could do better, and I knew that that's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that sucked. Like, I didn't want to let my team down, and that didn't feel good for anyone involved.
Right.
But also, you're better, so do better.
Yeah. I feel like there's definitely like a component of like in-game goldfish memory, but there's also like an out-of-game like longer experience with losing that like maybe you're not. I think part of the like therapy and like getting over traumatic events is like to the point, getting to the point where you can think back on that, but you don't have an emotional response to it.
Yep.
And so I think there's a component of that is like thinking back to like, I remember feeling like absolute shit during that, but not having the emotional response to it, but understanding that you need to work harder because you don't want to feel that again.
Yeah, and that I think is where film comes a really big part.
Okay.
Watching film.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I don't care what you do. Like, if you have a craft and you want to perfect it, film yourself and watch it.
I'll have to film myself typing out programs.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, because that's why I believe every coach needs a coach, and that's why I have a coach. Like, I cannot at some point have the mental lack of emotion like that I need in order to have an objective view, but what you can do to kind of supplement that is watching film. So I watched so much film on my free time as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to be the best.
Yeah, right.
Like, there's just that innate in me, like, I want to be the best. I want to, like...
Was it the best you, or was it the best period?
Best period.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, no, like, if I am the best period, then I am my best.
Okay. Yep.
And so I would watch film of me, and I would literally, like, this is so ridiculous. Like, this is probably psycho. I would literally have my computer screen here and my iPad screen here, and I would watch film of me and then Hope Solo. And I would literally, like,
Try and mimic her movements.
Diagram, like, how I could mimic how she looked.
Yeah.
Like, everybody talks in business because we're very business-minded individuals. Everybody talks about business as, like, dress and act for the role that you want, not the role that you have, right?
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so, like, Hope Solo's the best. I'm going to be a Hope Solo.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't idolize her in any way, shape, or form.
But she was the best.
But she was the best.
Right.
And that's what I wanted. And so that's what I did.
So I have I think it's super important to do that. Is like you're like learning your craft, right? You're learning from the best, and like even the best will learn from the best. But where do you feel like at some point in time you need to stop learning from the best, and you need to be the person setting that people are learning from? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. So when I don't think I ever stopped learning from the best.
Okay.
I think I just kind of use that as a waterfall theme.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I was taking from the best. Hope Solo, for example, or in the business world, our business, like I am reading and I'm listening to the best business minds out there, and I'm taking that information and I am making it mine. Like I'm taking it
and tailoring it, right?
And tailoring it, yes. And then from there, then I'm having conversations with the people that I'm trying to inspire and influence from based on that information that I have now made my own, because it's me.
Yeah.
It's now a part of me.
Right.
And that is kind of, it goes from one place down to me, down to them. And with the goal, with the hope that they be like, where'd you get your information from?
They go and learn.
They go and learn.
Yeah.
I and I would love, like, maybe I will write a book, someday to help kind of give
Guide
back
people and
give back into that system. I think
Yeah.
that's a beautiful system.
Right.
Like, I think that everybody should be mentored in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And we have so many avenues of that right now. And so that's kind of where, like, watching film of Hope Solo made me a better goalkeeper. My
Yeah.
team could rely on me, and they're like, wow, Nadia, you work really, really hard. Like, what do you do? Help give me advice. Training all the time in the weight room. Like, I would be, my friends would go to Cookout and grab, like, whatever they wanted, and I'd be running 13 miles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're, like, driving up after, like, car packed of my, like, teammates, and they're like, what are you doing? Like,
Training.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
running. They're like, you're a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers don't run. Like, what are you talking about? But it's because I had to be the best out of everyone, not just in my goalkeeper position, but, like, if I, like, this would never happen, but if I had to go out on the field and play your position,
You wanted to be prepared.
I wanted,
Yeah.
I'm going to learn it. I'm going
Right.
to learn every single position out there.
Yeah.
Kind of like a boss. Like, in the business mind, every position to an extent where if you needed to fill that role, obviously.
You're competent enough to fill it, but it's not like you're excelling at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you're competent enough to know what you need
Yeah. Right.
and know what you're demanding of those people. Isn't that, like, you can demand that, and be assured that you're not asking too much from them.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you can go do it.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. So that's what I did, and that's kind of how I view it. I don't really view it as a stop learning from those above me and then start teaching. It's like I'm constantly trying to influence people from what I'm currently learning or what I've learned in the past, and trying to inspire them through
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I dig
Yeah.
that.
That was a long-winded answer.
Yeah. I think we went off on like a ton of tangents there.
Yep.
But I think we're both also ADD, ADHD.
Yep.
So to be expected.
Sorry to your podcast listeners.
Yeah.
We circled back.
Yeah. But yes. Okay. So tore your ACL. Need to be the best. What happens after
I
collegiate
graduate?
soccer?
So I made a promise that I wasn't going to be one of those people that was living in the past, and gained 20 pounds because they didn't know how to properly transition.
Yeah.
So I, just by happenstance, I was pretty dead set on becoming a UFC fighter.
That'd be dope.
And I still would
I could
love
actually
to.
see that. Yeah.
I still would love to
Yeah.
learn how to fight and maybe get in the ring one day.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would ever happen because I have lots going on, but I think that would be like something that I would really enjoy. So
Yeah.
I was between that, and then I had learned about CrossFit, but my coach would not let me do CrossFit because in like the start of CrossFit, it was a very extremist sport, and like all you did was hit tires with sledgehammers. That was a very like almost like primal,
Yeah.
like there was just no, and I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And my coach was like, no, you're going to hurt yourself swinging a hammer. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I took my role very seriously as a college athlete. Like, I was being paid to compete, you know? And so, to an extent, I stayed away from CrossFit. And just by happenstance, I met this guy who owned a gym in Florida and wanted to become a competitive coach, like Ben Bergeron.
Yeah.
You know,
Sweet.
wanted to live the dream.
Yeah.
And I was still pretty athletic, you know, and I knew I wanted to continue to train and like whatever. And so he was like, you want to still be a competitive athlete? I will make you a competitive athlete and I will take you as far as you want to, like, well, he said as far as you want to go, but like the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
And I will get you there.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. I had just gotten off. I had just quit an adult softball league because I sucked. Could not hit a damn softball to save a life.
Like, can I kick this thing?
Literally, put me on outfield. I'll catch those all day long.
Yeah.
I'll dive. I got
Can
you.
the DH come in for the center fielder,
Yeah.
not the pitcher?
Literally, can we rotate like volleyball does? Like, please rotate me out of the batting line. And so I was like, had a failed little like adult league softball, and I was like, okay, like I have nothing to lose and I have everything to gain in my mind. And so that first like 9 months, we went ham. I lived very, very insanely minimally, and I didn't work hardly at all, and I just trained.
Yeah.
Constantly. He was insane.
Yeah.
Like, got the results so fast and so not healthy.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
we're talking years off of life. Unhealthy.
Right.
But got the results.
Yeah. That's one thing that I find very interesting about this sport is you can get results very quickly if you just come in and you train all the time. But it fucks you up so much more than any other sport.
Yep.
Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like,
Insane.
hormones out of balance, central nervous system out of balance, like food intake,
Awful.
GI issues,
So bad.
joint aching, inflammation, crazy inflammation in the body. But like, you're like, cool, standing on this competition floor,
Doing
I hate
well.
myself.
Yeah. The amount of cortisone shots I had to get in
Yeah.
those, like, whatever, because of, I don't have a patellar tendon. Part of my patellar tendon is gone. My meniscus was torn, my MCL and ACL. So, like, knee problems. I had to get injections in my thumbs and my wrist. Like, it was, like, my body was breaking,
Right.
in just the short span of, like, 9 months.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But I was competitive, and that is very not easy to do. Now, I was at one point, this is so bad, and like Haley is my really good friend, and she like has a really cool business, and she was kind of there, like, because we had crossed paths, and she was kind of in that space, and she kind of knew like I was trying to be competitive after college. And at one point I was on like less than 1,000 calorie diet. I couldn't eat peanut butter. Like, it was insanely restrictive because we were cutting so I could move faster. Like, that's how insane.
This dude read Bergeron's book and like took it to heart, huh?
100%. Yes. And I didn't know.
Right,
I was
right.
just like,
Well,
I guess this is it.
You don't know. And then like I have major qualms with some of the stuff that Bergeron said around like weight loss and stuff like that. Like, literally 2 weeks before the Open, he's like, if you have excess body fat, that's like wearing a weight vest going into these workouts. And you're like, bro, it's 2 weeks before the Open and you're posting this. Nobody has time to safely lose that weight. Plus, your performance is going to be deterred because you have no carbs in your body.
You have no fuel source at all because you're
Yeah.
literally like trying to eat 800 calories so
And
you
you're
can
not-
lose your weight vest.
Right. And
Yeah.
so like, So like, when I hear things
Crazy.
like that, it's like that was old school. That was very much old school CrossFit, and just some of the thought processes around competing were so wild,
unhealthy,
so wild, and
so
it's like,
bad.
But again, it's like you go to a weekend cert, and now all of a sudden you're in, and maybe you get the luck of the draw of a really good athlete walking into your gym, or like back in the day, you just had you were the only gym in the area, or you branded correctly in the area. You had 6 people find your place on Google, and you go to the games, you know?
Yep.
And so now you're a residential expert with like very little knowledge outside of your weekend cert, you know, or what NASM's putting out or whatever.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, crazy stuff. But yeah, you're right. Like, and I didn't know any better, but now I know, looking back, like, holy crap. Like, look how far CrossFit has come.
Quite a ways.
Yeah. Well, just like the level of education within the coaching world.
Right. I mean, so that is one thing. Like, people were back when CrossFit first kind of came out. It was so new, and it was like, I have to learn all these different training methodologies. Yeah. Oh, people are getting fucked up. Now I have to learn how to help them recover. So it drove the coaching industry exponentially. Yeah. There's no question about that. Like, that is one of the best things that CrossFit did for strength and conditioning, is it drove the coaching industry and physical therapy industry exponentially.
Yeah. One of 2 ways drove the physical therapy.
Right.
One of 2 ways.
Yeah. Right.
But yes.
Yeah. So like you had people that came in and became educated on things fast. Like within 6 to 8 years, you had I would say from like 2010 until 2018, the education level. So like within an 8-year span, you basically had people hitting the ground running if you cared about coaching at an expertise level. And like you could take somebody, as long as if you were paying attention to the right people, you could take somebody off the streets and get them pretty good at the sport within a 2-year period. Yeah. Like, you weren't overdoing with people. Doesn't sound like this individual that was the case. But, you know, it did educate people, and like, you know, it is impressive, like, how quickly the fitness industry evolved.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and like, I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, my whole life I've always been good at sports and a very adaptable athlete. Now, I've never been great except for college, when I really took it seriously and really like started owning my role. But so, like, to the untrained eye, I'm like the perfect person. Yeah. Yes, I'll be a yes person. Like, I will follow, I'll be loyal, like, and I'll do what you tell me to do to the fullest extent. Yeah. So, like, I am a coach's dream, and to an extent. Yeah. And in that moment in time, I didn't know any better. Right. Other than to follow.
Right. Well, I mean, your experience too was like, I have a coach of the soccer team. Yep. If I just am coachable and they tell me what to do, I get better. Yep. But they're also like an expertise coach, and they're not being like, you need to be training 24/7. Like, why are you not in the net, you know, blocking balls from 6 to 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You know? You're right. And so I will say to that, that's a great point. That is, I had very well educated coaches in the soccer realm. Like, you can't just it's not like club soccer, even growing up. Like, it's not your dad coaching the team. Like, it's a legit, like, I had goalkeeper coaches, and I had like an actual coach coaching our travel team. Like, you know, and then in college, you have to go through all these certifications, and like, you have to prove yourself as a good coach, you know, and you have a whole team, you have a staff of coaches. Right. And so, to your point, that was naive Nadia being like, every coach is the same.
Yeah. I mean, you're by far not alone in that sense.
Oh no, absolutely not. And I hope that someone who is like interested in like becoming competitive CrossFit does not make the same mistake I did. Yeah. I would love for them to save the heartache and trouble and the injuries that incur. Yeah. And just, you know, go join a gym and actually have a good coach who knows what
Just-
they're doing.
Just do classes for a year.
Yeah. Learn the
make
world of
yeah.
CrossFit.
Go to a minimum 5 gyms before you sign up at one as well.
100% agree. Unless you live in a town like Columbia and there's only 3.
Yes. Then go to all 3.
Go to all 3. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Go to all 3 twice, and that's even better.
Right. There
Yeah,
you go. Yeah,
literally, you'll get a good idea. So, so all that to be said is I entered my first year in the open, and we ran it under his like gym, whatever, and I actually qualified for semis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Semis or quarters?
I made it through quarters.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So now that was not our goal. So we didn't continue on.
Got it.
Through semis.
Yeah.
And so, but that was, I think, the last time that was ever offered.
Okay. Yep. The quarters semi structure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because the structure keeps changing and
Right.
everything.
Right.
We've had this conversation.
Yes.
So, but like when I tell you my body was literally breaking, like it was breaking.
Right.
And so when he told me, I was like, when I made it, he was like, yeah, you qualified. I was like, I was not excited at all.
Like,
I was like,
more training.
I have to do this all over again, and it's harder this time.
Yeah.
The open workouts, he made me run them at least 3 times.
That's crazy.
Yes. And they were like,
Well, I made
say,
Liana
but
do the workouts 3 times as well, but that was like a different.
That was different.
Yeah.
Like these were like, it's not that like I needed to run these because I qualified. Like I was gonna qualify. You know what I'm saying? Even with the first 2, like even if it was 2 times each, like even if I had like a really good score, he still made me run it 3 times.
Yeah.
Like it was like
too much.
Weird. Like
Yeah.
I don't know where this guy got his method from, but it is what it is. Lessons learned.
Yeah.
And so I was so thankful and I was so relieved. So then I like took a little bit of a break, really not much of a break, and then went back to training. And I had like they were gonna he was really heavy on getting me like sponsorship deals and stuff like that. So we were working on getting a few sponsors, and so I had like a photo shoot that morning at his gym, and was done that morning, had like a cardio session or whatever, finished that, and I like had the whole day to myself. I was like, oh my gosh, finally. I've been to Florida for nationals for soccer, but never been to the beach, and like even CrossFit, like never been to the beach.
Yeah.
So I was like, finally, this is my chance to go to the beach.
Yeah.
And so I am bikinis on, Noble backpack.
Yeah.
I think I've got a baseball cap on and like the Lululemon shorts. Like I'm not wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
You know, it's Florida. Like,
Right.
come on.
Right.
It's Destin. Like, it's beautiful.
Soaking up the sun.
No one needs to wear a shirt in Destin.
Yeah.
And so I am walking across a crosswalk, and this lady does not stop and like just hits my left side, and I get caught like under her car.
That's crazy.
Into oncoming traffic.
Wow.
And like it's just so funny because I see it too. It's like I see it so vividly, and I like am in the like street or whatever, and I remember looking up and like this big white truck is coming my way. Now hindsight, it would have always stopped. But I remember when I saw it coming my way, I was like, this car better fucking kill me, because
I do not want to be alive after this.
do not want to be alive after this.
Yeah.
Because I was so miserable.
Yeah.
Like Kyle, like my whole, like my body was breaking. Like I like had just like come off of like a really, really like rigorous low caloric like diet.
Yeah.
And I had finally had like my one redeeming like moment of like, I'm going to go to the beach, sit and like read a book and like really try to enjoy this. Taken away.
Man.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I am ready to die.
I was like, please, Lord, take me.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're here, we're good, and we're really happy now. And so I end up like, I was in such a like crazy mental state. I book a flight like right after, like my whole side is like not like
Well, yeah,
from
like,
the
what were the
waist So my hip got dislocated, my meniscus got retorn, and my ankle bone was dislocated, and I had a bunch of like broken bones in my foot and torn tendons in my foot.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was pretty bad. Could have been worse. Could have died. Looking back.
Right.
And then like I had some like nerve damage due to some of that like compact, like my spine is like.
Yep.
My spine has issues. I have a straight neck and like scoliosis, compact, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've, seen chiropractors and stuff like that. So I end up like booking the flight back home, and I just quit.
Wow.
Then and there. I hired a foot specialist, and I just was like,
I'm done with this.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That car, everything just stopped.
Yeah.
I literally I didn't tell anyone other than my best friend and my mom and like my parents, and I literally quit everything and moved back home on that flight.
Wow.
And I took myself to the emergency room.
Yeah, right.
I got an Uber. They offered to take me, and I was like, I didn't want anybody. I didn't want anybody around me, nothing.
Yeah.
I literally texted my coach, got hit by a car, I'm done. And he tried to call me, and I was like, no, I'm not
done.
answering. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm going to the emergency room. They're going to fix me up, and I'm going home. And I
Yeah.
did. They offered to keep me there because they had to put me under to relocate my ankle. And I
Okay.
literally made them do it then and there. So they had to get like all the orthopedic surgeons and stuff.
Wow,
Because
yeah.
I wasn't going to, I was like, I booked my flight. I'm leaving. Like,
Yeah.
that's how the mental space I was in. It was
Right.
like crazy. So I quit, and then I was like, I recovered for like, it took me about a year and a half to really like mentally, like the physical recovery, like I tore my ACL and everything like that. And so I've been through rehab and I've been through all of that. That was hard because so what happened is like now my like right side doesn't necessarily neurologically respond as well. And you've seen it, and like some of the like repercussions of that. And I've gotten really good, like a lot better. But it was very hard. But the hardest part of it was mental. Like it was so mental. I don't think I realized how like deep in the dark mental like dungeon I was trying to get out of that. Like,
Yeah.
and feeling like there was no one to help me. Like I had hired specialists, even though I hired specialists, like it still felt like I was so alone. And I was technically I operated like an adaptive athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the same movements, so I started running.
Okay.
Yeah, because I could run, not great, but like I still could run. So I
Yeah.
ended up training for a marathon.
Okay.
And just slowly worked my way back into CrossFit. Like I would go to a CrossFit class and then like silence for like 2 months because it was so hard.
Yeah. You're like, well, I've experienced people that have gone through burnout and like
Yeah.
probably not as much to the extent, but it's like they touch CrossFit and they're like they still get all those emotions from it.
Yeah.
And so they have to back off.
Uh-huh.
And then they touch CrossFit and then they have to back off. And it's like this wave until you're like back into like, oh, this is healthy again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So we went through that. And then, so that kind of gives us into like the innuendo into like why I do what I do now.
Yeah, right.
And all of these life experiences, by no means am I saying that I am woe is me. Like, no. I am like, God is so good and like has really protected me from a lot and really pulled me out of a lot. And so I am so thankful. I am doing great.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I went through those things because I learned a lot about myself and I learned a lot about other people. And so now through those experiences, I really started learning a lot more about adaptive athletes.
Okay.
And the struggles and the lack of community, I think, around adaptive athletes. Now, there is a community out there.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to my friend who's on a World's Row team, and
Okay.
like, very good rower. She got like 8th in Worlds last year.
Wow.
So phenomenal. And so there's a huge
Paralympics?
Paralympics team for rowing. Yeah.
Okay.
And like, so she knows, she was able to talk to me all about that.
Yeah.
And how they have literally created their own culture,
Yeah.
their own thing within the like actual rowing boats, like community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Because there was such a lack within the rowing.
Yeah.
So awesome. And so, but still to this day, a lot of gyms really have huge opportunities to help people
Yeah.
to within, like, if you are an amputee, if you have some, like, if you got hit by a car and like have some neurological issues, or if you are a veteran who was shot and are trying to get
Blown
back,
up or
blown
whatever.
up,
Yeah.
whatever it is, like, there is a, like, creating and cultivating that safe space where you're not alone, but also where, like, people understand
Yeah.
and know how to, like, talk to you and get and see what you need and then provide it.
Totally.
You know?
Maybe we can back up a little bit here. Like, how'd you get into adaptive? Like, I know you kind of said, like,
Yeah.
I kind of trained like an adaptive athlete because I had some neurological damage. But how did you get into it? Like, who did you meet? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. So Nikki and Bobby, I met them. I met them on the wave journey.
Okay.
Of, like,
Yeah.
in,
I'm
out,
in
in,
and
out.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. I met them on the wave journey, and Nikki is a disabled U.S. veteran.
Okay.
And Bobby has been injured. He worked in law enforcement his
Okay.
whole life, and has been injured on the job.
Yeah.
And both of them are, like, beautiful human beings.
Yeah.
And they were their goal and their passion really aligned.
Okay.
With those, like, kind of adaptive athletes, like, on the military and the first responders side of it. And so I met them and told them about my accident. They're like, yo, like, this is kind of what we do for, like, people in the military. And, like, they also, like, provide counseling and stuff like that too. And so I was like, well, I'm not in the military. And
Yeah.
also I'm not ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but still kept in contact because I'm a networker and I like to network, and, like,
Yeah.
I'll 100% keep a number and keep a face and remember, and, like, still, like, cultivate a relationship because people are awesome. And so through that, just kind of kept coming in and out. And they also didn't have a very large space
Yeah.
at the time for me to, like, do my thing and hide away or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I didn't end up joining their gym, but I just kind of, like, dropped in every once in a while.
Okay.
And would, like, talk to them and, like, see what they were up to and all of that, and ask them about their, like, they were really involved in, like, the veterans area because in South Carolina we have the largest Army base, Fort Jackson.
Jackson. Okay.
Yeah. And so huge opportunities for them in the
Yeah.
veteran world there.
Wasn't this called something different?
Not to my knowledge, but I don't know. A lot of bases have changed their names.
I know. Man,
You would know.
as you get older, your memory fades.
Fine.
It's right outside of Columbia, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. It's still Fort Jackson, though. I don't know if it was changed before that.
I think it was something different. Sorry.
Could have
Continue.
been. Yeah. So, and then they recently bought out an old gym
Okay.
that is a lot larger.
Gotcha.
And so I wanted to do this even before we partnered with them.
Okay.
And
Describe what it is real quick. So, like, let's get into that.
Yeah.
Now. Like, what are you doing now?
So what I am doing now is through fundraiser. So we're doing a 27-hour row fundraiser.
What's the name of it?
It is called Row Beyond Limits.
Okay.
Thank you, Emma, for the name. And basically, we have teams of 4 that come, and this is our first year doing it. So, we're going to refine the structure,
Right.
obviously based on this year's event. rowing teams will come and row either in-house or online, and it's just a really fun, friendly competition, almost like a marathon.
Yeah.
But it's a team event, and it is to help raise money and sponsor and cultivate a community surrounded by adaptive athletes within CrossFit.
Awesome.
And so the money that we raise for this through this row fundraiser will help buy specifically rogue rowers because they can detach. Also will help provide first like 13, 12 free gym memberships for adaptive athletes.
Awesome.
Because we want to create a class for them. And then some other equipment pieces for like other like bars and things like that for adaptive athletes to be able to function and to really have the full CrossFit experience.
Yeah.
You know? And then we also want to provide coaches the opportunity to be certified as an adaptive trainer.
Awesome.
For free.
Okay.
We want to make it as easy as possible for more coaches to become certified and to gain knowledge and to like expand and be better coaches to everyone. Because even if you are getting an adaptive training and you're not training adaptive athletes, one of your class members is going to have an issue.
Right.
They're going to have, maybe they break their foot doing something crazy because they went to the Georgia football game and got a little too rowdy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you have that background knowing what it's like to train someone that has lost something like a foot or something. So you can take those principles and become a better coach.
Yeah.
And we want to make it as hard as possible to say no.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And because that is, oh my gosh, so important.
Yeah.
Having a community, cultivating that and knowing that you're not alone and knowing that people care enough and want to help support you and want to make you the best person ever.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
So that's our business why.
Yeah.
And the model is 27-hour row.
Yeah. Okay. Name of it again.
Row Beyond Limits.
You guys have an Instagram.
We do. Row Beyond Limits. Everything is under Row Beyond Limits.
And how do you sign up exactly?
So on our Instagram, we have a link that you can either donate or you can sign up a team.
Okay.
Now, to sign up a team, it's a $100 donation. So you will get a tax kickback. Tax right off of that. But it is all donation. So eventually this nonprofit, like we're not making money. 100% of that your dollar is going to this row, like to the adaptive, to the rowers, like the rowers that we're trying to buy, to the sponsorships for adaptive athletes to have free gym memberships, to coaches to gain certifications and things like that. 100% of your dollar, your donation, and eventually we will expand because I will need, like, if it does turn out and become what I want it to become, it will travel. And it will be like a normal, like a yearly thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you have in-person. Where's the in-person?
So the in-person is at the Warrior Axe CrossFit in Columbia, South Carolina. Okay. And it's May 24th, starting at 10 a.m. To May 25th, ending at 1 p.m.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
And then what's the virtual thing?
So the virtual is we're live streaming.
Okay.
We're live streaming everything.
Okay.
So that is why me and Emma will not be rowing, nor will Nikki and Bobby.
Got it.
Because we're going to take care of all of the, like, we don't have a marketer.
Yeah.
Because we're new.
Right.
So me.
Right.
I do it all.
Yeah. Right.
And so we'll be live streaming. And we really wanted as many people to get involved. Obviously, it's very localized to Columbia.
Right.
But the dream, the 5-year goal is to be able to go to all, like, any gym. Like, you apply that you want this row fundraiser at your gym next year.
And you guys go and put it on there.
And we go put it on there. So we want to create opportunities for that
Yeah.
through a virtual row. So
Okay.
you'll row and we'll like connect via social media on like Instagram, because you can do that. And that is how we'll like keep track, and then you'll submit
Okay.
your score to us
Okay.
or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, so that way we can like kind of have like some version of like a leaderboard.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
this is the first year, so like I said, this is all going to
It's going to be some trial and error.
absolutely.
For sure.
And so I almost went to local comp and signed it up as an official,
Oh, okay.
but I was like, I probably should wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I need to see.
Work the cobwebs out. Yep. Or work
Yep.
the kinks out, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Teams, though.
Teams of 4.
Guy, girl, all girls, all guys.
Anyone this year.
It doesn't matter.
Does not matter.
No divisions.
No divisions.
Okay.
It does not matter because we really just want it to be a really fun event.
Okay.
We
Yep.
don't want parameters on it. This is literally like all of my data point moving forward is going to be from this.
Yeah, right.
Like, you
right.
know,
Yeah.
and I feel bad, but I'm also making it very easy for like people to come in and
Right.
do it. And I would I'm pretty sure I'm going to get an adaptive team to also
Awesome.
row.
Very cool.
Yes. So every athlete is going to have some kind of adaptation or like
Yeah.
adaptive. And maybe they won't be doing the full 27 hours, but there will be an adaptive team.
Sweet.
So I'm like, you know what? Anybody who wants to have a team, bring your friends.
Awesome.
Make it a fun friend event. We have a country artist coming in, Brooks Herring. Shout out to Brooks. He's going to be there.
What time specifically?
Is he going to be there?
Yeah.
He's going to be there in the evening.
Yeah, what time? I just want to make sure that
You're
I'm not a
not-
country fan.
No, he was in the Navy.
I will support him.
Yeah, he's a good old former service
Yeah.
guy that is just also very entrepreneurial
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
Very sharp
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. I'm totally kidding. I will be there for it.
You better. You're a team entering
Yeah,
it.
right.
Come on. You
Well, I'm
better
just
be
saying,
there.
like, what time is he going to be there? So maybe I can be gone getting dinner during that. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
well,
I'm just
so
kidding.
that's another thing is like
You guys stay on site?
we're staying on site.
okay.
I'm bringing food trucks.
Okay.
We're gonna grill hot dogs, hamburgers. Like I want this to be just like a party vibe.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, maybe not for the whole duration of
yeah,
it,
right,
but like
right.
we are going to have.
So are there any parameters around like how much a team can can you literally just go 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off for the whole 27 hours? Like,
I mean,
That'd
you
be
could
fucking
if you
wild.
want to. That would be kind of crazy, but at some point, people are gonna have to sleep. So I don't.
I mean, not
have any-
necessarily, but yes.
I don't have no. Well, you're right. You're right. All right, you military people. Something about sleep, y'all just don't like.
For a short period of time.
Yeah, for a short period of time. We will have like a program, and we will have. It's actually what I'm working on the next like week or two, is creating a plan
Okay.
to
yeah.
follow
Okay.
to your own discretion.
Awesome.
Now, because teams are like
Okay. Chaos. pretty
whoever
much.
you want.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. Now you do have to tell me if you're going to do it, how long you're going to do it for, so that way I can like kind of set schedule like whatever.
Oh, like if somebody's not planning on doing the whole 27 hours. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So like for our adaptive team that we're wanting to have, like they're probably not going to be rowing for the full 27 hours, so that's
Yeah.
going to be look different for them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for these teams that are rowing the full 27 hours, I will be giving several like suggestions
Yeah.
to optimize
Yeah.
their performance, because we will have physical therapy on site, we will
Nice.
have body workers on site.
Yeah.
So like we are yes, this is very fun, but yes, this is a lot.
Yeah.
And I am not trying to ask people to I'm already asking people to sacrifice 27 hours.
Right. Right.
I want to make sure that we take care of
Yeah.
these rowers.
Yeah. Those hamstring insertion points are going to
yes.
be screaming.
Absolutely. And I might be able to get convinced to have acupuncture there as well.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yes.
Sweet.
So like I'm working a lot on
Yeah.
that recovery side of it. So
Totally.
that's where like those suggested times of like rowing, like 30 minutes, 90 minutes. Like your
Okay.
your row to rest recovery is going to be longer, obviously, because you have 3 other people.
Right,
But
right.
like, can that optimize your time for recovery?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, versus like an hour on the rower is pretty hard.
Yeah.
30 minutes is very manageable.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So, or even like 40 minutes.
Right.
So like that's going to optimize, it's going to change how your recovery looks.
Totally. Yep.
And then how much like taking, like there's science of like naps that's like really important too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
like no more than a 30-minute nap.
Okay.
Actually, like the ideal time for a nap for like optimal recovery in that kind of environment is 25.
Yeah.
So like, you know, and so like if you have 3 hours of recovery, you're more likely to take like a hour and a half nap, and then you're probably going to wake up even worse.
Yeah. Very curious as to how my body's going to handle this, because back in the day, wouldn't have fucking mattered. I haven't done something like this in like a long time. So I'm very
Crazy.
curious to hear.
I'm excited, and I'm very hopeful that these teams like that enter in will give honest, true feedback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, whatever you need to know, we'll obviously let you know.
And
So,
like the data points of like everybody's Whoop and Garmin's and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Right.
and we'll I have the ergs, like you can connect them to your phones, and so we'll definitely be getting that data
Awesome.
moving
Sweet.
forward. I love
Yeah.
I love data.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So that's like our model right now.
Yeah.
And I hope it works out really well. I think it's going to be really fun.
Likewise. Yeah. Yeah. But that, I think, is probably a good place to end on.
Yeah.
We've been going for a while here.
We have.
So, Instagram name again,
Row Beyond Limits.
and you have a sign up form on your guys' Instagram.
Yep, I
Awesome.
do. We
Okay,
do.
sweet.
Yep. And you can look at the podcast also.
Yes. Yes.
Nice. I'll have this on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So, well, thanks for listening, guys. As always, like and subscribe. Find Nadia on Instagram. Find Row Beyond Limits on Instagram, and get signed up. It's gonna be a fun time.
It'll be great. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see you guys out there.
See ya.